I'm no longer nervous. I speak from my heart without much paper and whatnot. So I've certainly improved over the years. So I'm really happy that I can share whatever knowledge I attained over the last few years to you, the Rotaract Club of Penal. So I'll just like to introduce my co-host, Alicia Brown, to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Fair. First off, I'd like to say thank you to the Professional Director Development, Mr. Mungle, for inviting us on the platform today to present on public speaking strategies. And public speaking, I'd like to say firstly that public speaking is for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're an introvert, an ambivert, or an extrovert. Public speaking is for everyone. Who agrees with that statement? Anyone brave, any brave public speaker to agree? Yes, public speaking is for, and why do you think I would say something like this, that public speaking is for everyone? Anyone? Okay, Ida Bagalu?
Aida, yes. Yeah, I was going to say at some point everybody have to talk, so it just makes sense that everybody learn public speaking at some point.
Correct. Mr. Mungle, you wanted to add something to that?
Yes, I would like to say that, just added on Ida's point that everyone has an opportunity to speak and they have a voice for a reason. And the faster we learn to articulate how we speak and how to be in our environments, we will be able to communicate better with everyone.
Thank you. Both excellent answers. And my reason for saying that is because every single person here today on this platform, we have a gift. We have some talent within us that we need to share with the world. It is not meant to stay bottled up inside of us, but we need to bring it out and let everyone see so that our future, given that the aim of the Rotaract Club is to develop the young adults and develop them into leaders, and through community work, we need to use our talents and gifts to improve society. So that is why I say that public speaking is for every single person. And my story is a very simple one, in that as an accounting professional, as a supervisor, as well as the executive on my Toastmasters Club, I am expected to lead individuals. I am expected to make important decisions on a daily basis. People come to me for advice, and I need to be able to speak with a certain level of authority and command, ensuring that my message is communicated effectively. And from the slide that you show, you had the question, what do you think about when you hear public speaking? And there are different versions of public speaking, because we have people who just speak in public, and we have people who are excellent public speakers. And I think we here all want to be excellent public speakers, not just speakers, correct? Yes, we want to be the best versions of ourselves. And so for me, I'm not sure if you all can relate to this. There are times where I would walk in a room and I would hear someone speak, and automatically I'm captivated by their voice, whether it is the eloquence in their voice, how they speak or carry themselves. I am always impressed by that. Has that ever happened to anyone here?
Yeah. It definitely has.
Yeah, and that is because they have nurtured themselves to become great public speakers. So that is what I want to say today. I now pass you back to Toastmaster Fair, who will begin the key strategies to public speaking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alicia. As you mentioned there, you see people are well dressed. You see they wear a lot of confidence. Before they even utter a word, they already have your attention. So these are the excellent speakers, and we are all gearing to be like these speakers we mentioned and you mentioned earlier. So our first key, we have identified some strategies, some key strategies in public speaking. Public speaking is not only the ability to speak, or for instance, I was asked to speak on many occasions because I have a very deep voice. I probably may not need any microphone, but public speaking is not only the having the ability to speak loudly, but also knowing what to say, how to say it, when to say it. And one of our key strategies is knowing your audience. We believe this is one of the most important aspects of public speaking. In the past, and I can speak from my experience, we attend lots of family functions or special engagements, graduations, and the guests of honor speaking on topics you don't even know how to relate to. For instance, I remember for my graduation, our guest speaker was speaking on atoms and outer space and Saturn and Jupiter, and nothing to really motivate the students. So this is something we must focus on, to know your audience, know who you're going to speak to. For instance, before I agreed to speak this evening, I asked Savage Mongol, who are we going to speak to? Is it to the club? Is it to parents? Know the age group of the people you want to speak to. Know what you want to gain from the speech. Know what you want to gain from the workshop. And it must be specific to the people you are tracking. So if the audience are teenagers, you speak in a way that you can relate to the teenagers. You use stuff like social media, you use information from TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. Whereas if it's a more senior crowd, you use different aspects. So you just want the important thing is to speak to the people who are listening. Know your audience so that they will fully understand where you are coming from. Toastmas, Alicia, anything else you would like to add to knowing your audience, or how important it is to know your audience?
As Shadampe mentioned, knowing your audience is crucial because your audience has expectations from you in terms of what they want you to provide. They have certain needs that they expect to gain from your presentation. So today, for example, speaking to the Rotaract Club, I know that I have a lot of young, impressionable leaders, future leaders online. And the question came to my mind, what are the needs of the members of the Rotaract Club? What is it that they are hoping to gain from this session today when I am finished? And to me, it is about you all are interested in making significant change in the future. My thoughts are how best I can serve you all and to reach you all. And that is some of the things that you need to be thinking about when it comes to public speaking in front of your audience, knowing what your audience wants, ensuring that you provide what they need to help them improve themselves. And that's the importance of knowing your audience.
So for example, if you as a guest speaker, you're going to give a presentation to, say, a senior crowd, and you're not attracting their attention. So what could you do differently in that moment to attract their attention? Because sometimes you may set out to say something and you will have to adjust your speech or your presentation. So what are some skills you may do to attract your crowd, Alicia?
Some of the things that you can do to attract your crowd would be one, to definitely engage the crowd. So for example, if I ask Mr. Bisnath, are you available to speak? Okay, I guess he is not. But the point is you try to reach out to your audience to get their feedback, to understand if you are actually meeting their needs, and you adjust your information in order to suit them, as well as when you are speaking to different genres of people, you need to, as well as adjust your language. Mr. Munger, you have your hand up.
Oh, I just seen a question in the chat from Rhonda. So how do you pitch for a very varied audience?
If you have to pitch for a variety of members, so like for today, I believe that we have guests as well as Rotaract members in here. You try to make the content as useful as possible. Try to encompass everyone within your presentation, ensuring that you have key points that will benefit the different members on your platform.
And as you mentioned, Alicia, another strategy or the next strategy, which is also important, is knowing your topic. So you already know who your audience is. So the next important aspect is to know your topic. So Savage asked us to speak on key strategies of public speaking. So if I came here this evening and I didn't know anything about public speaking, then I would not have prepared properly because I didn't know the topic. So to know who your audiences are, you have to know the topics, different topics. For instance, I worked in the media for several years, and you can just put a mic in front of someone's face and ask several questions, and they will respond, and they may not know the topic. They may not know the topic. And we have lots of bluffers here in Trinidad and Tobago. They can carry down the road, bring you back up, and didn't attempt to answer the question. So knowing your topic is very important in terms of presentation because questions could come from different angles and you must do your research. So we may have some information on what we would like to speak or the topics we would like to cover this evening, but we had to do research because we could be speaking from our experience, we could be speaking from hearsay, we could be speaking from what someone taught us, but there's always room for knowing more. You always have to expand your knowledge base. So this is why it's important to do your research. So when you know your audience, the next aspect is to know your topic. What topic is important for us to speak about this evening? Or if you have to go and speak at a graduation or wedding, you're not going to speak at a wedding and the topic is about a funeral that went on last week. Or you're not going to speak about the unfortunate war that is happening in Ukraine. So you got to know your topic and you have to have some sort of research or information to support your topic of choice. Alicia?
Thank you, Sheridan. And knowing your topic is very important because it gives you the confidence that comes with having knowledge. This is very simple because the more you know about a topic, the easier it is for you to speak in length. So for example, Mr. Bisnath, I see that you said you're available. What are you passionate about?
Well, right now I'm passionate about the technology that is going around. So basically to keep updated with technology.
Right, and I am sure that given that you are passionate about technology, you can hold a conversation with someone in detail about technological gadgets and different things. Am I right?
Yes, it would.
Sure, good. So that is what knowing your topic does. It gives you the confidence to speak on demand. So for example, given that we are speaking about public speaking strategies, we have had many years of speaking experience being a Toastmaster. I've been a Toastmaster since 2018, and currently I am going up for many roles, area director, club coach within my club. So I've had numerous experience with public speaking. I see we have Daniel would like to ask a question. Hi, Daniel. Okay, we'll move on.
Oh, she was clapping. She was clapping for you.
Okay, no problem.
Yes, so Alicia, in your workplace, for instance, you have in your workplace you had to do several presentations for your employees or employers, and how important it is in terms of presenting to them that you have to know your topic.
It is very important. So for example, at my workplace, every week we have a meeting that we do operations meeting, and the different managers from the department will come to that meeting. And we are asked on the spot questions. So if another department has an issue, they will bring it up. And you need to be fully aware of everything that is going on within your department and without of your department in order to answer correctly and provide useful information at that meeting. So in the professional world, knowing your topic is very important. We will now move into the next strategy, which ties in with knowing your topic, and this is research. In order to become an expert or master in your craft or whatever it is you do, you have to research it and be in depth. One of my motivational speakers always say, don't be average. People who are not average are not afraid to put in the work. So in preparation for today's meeting, I reviewed some of the past meetings online with the induction of the new members that happened around 6 months ago. I also saw that you all celebrated first anniversary in October 2021, am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, so research is very important. You don't want to be average. You want to show that you are fully interested, engaged, and you know what you are talking about. Sheridan?
So basically, she's saying research is the next level of knowing your topic. So I am a person who loves stats. Probably it's from my sporting background. So I love stats. So whenever you're speaking to me, I must have my stats to support me. It must have proper reasoning. So this is how important research is. And yes, Alicia did her research because she quizzed me. So who is the president of Rotaract Penal? And who is the secretary? So she was showing off that she did her research on the topic that we are presenting today. So it's very important in Toastmasters. There's a segment called Table Topics where you ask a question on the spot. And I was fortunate enough to win the Trinidad and Tobago contest and represented Trinidad and Tobago in Barbados. So basically, you ask a question on the spot and you reply within 1 to 2 minutes. So it's important to know your research because you can speak, you can give whatever information you know from experience that you had. But if you don't have that research or that information to support your speech, it will be null and void. It'll just be words or forms of sentences. But with research now, it gives that support, it gives that backing to what you are saying. Another important aspect of public speaking is time. Time is very crucial, whether you start on time, because as a speaker, a guest speaker, you have to be very early. If it starts at 6 p.m., you should be there at 5:30 p.m. or 5:45 p.m. and you're ready to go at 6 p.m. or whenever you're asked to give your presentation. Also, timing is important in terms of the length of your speech. You must have a speech where you can interact with the audience, have that impact with the audience, and send them home with something that they can remember for the rest of their lives. But if you speak, if you're allotted 5 to 7 or even 10 minutes and you're on to your 20 to 25 minutes, you probably lose your audience. They're probably saying his speech was good enough, but oh gosh, it was long. It was too long. It was boring after 10 minutes. I couldn't listen no more after 15 minutes. I went on my phone, I was checking WhatsApp, social media, because your speech was too long. And we see lots of this happening in weddings, funerals, and nowadays there are several eulogies, probably 3 to 5 eulogies per funeral, and some of them repetitive. the two persons before already mentioned that this person was born at the San Fernando Hospital, and the third person comes up and say the same exact thing. So this is why you have to adjust your speech. You say, as mentioned before, or you use different aspects of your skills, you know. So timing is really, really, really important, because you don't want to be too short as well, because you don't want to leave your audience always waiting for more. Well, it's good to have them waiting for more, but you want to be just right. Not too long, not too short, just right.
And as Sharon mentioned, time is very important because we know humans, we tend to have a short attention span, and after a couple of minutes, we do tend to zone off or get distracted by the slightest interjection that happens within the room. Also in the professional world, if you call a meeting half an hour before lunch and you decide to go over that half an hour, you could imagine the amount of people who would start to make noise, make a fuss, and be disgruntled, they're hungry. So being on time is very important, as well as if you have a presentation to make and your director said, we will give you 30 minutes to make your pitch. It doesn't matter if you spent hours or days preparing a presentation that's going to take you an hour to present. You have to be able to adjust your presentation, ensure that you get your message across within that 30 minutes in order to succeed for whether it is a promotion or to get that next opportunity. So time is very important.
And by the time allotted to you, you will know how to adjust your presentation. Because if you are given 10 minutes and 7-8 minutes into the speech, you're still into your introduction, then you will lose your audience as well, because they are waiting for the key information. So it's important to know and ask the question, how long is our presentation this evening? 1 hour. Savage gave us 1 hour. So we knew we had to do introduction 5 to 10 minutes, at 30 minutes of our key points, and probably questions and answers after to make up the 1 hour. So it's important. So if someone asks you to do a presentation or a speech, this is an important aspect of it. So you'll know how to plan your speech to give the best possible presentation to your audience.
And now we will move into vocal variety. When I say vocal variety, what do you all think I mean by vocal variety? Anyone? Okay, we have.
Oh, sorry.
Would you like to say something, Belle?
I was going to say, I guess it could be referring to tone, pitch, and those sorts of things. Just the way how I guess your voice, you range your voice, Shroddy. If you're excited, you raise your voice, or if it is something a little bit more somber, so you change your tonality based on what it is you're trying to say.
Correct, Belle. Excellent. That is what vocal variety is. So in a nutshell, vocal variety is the ability to adjust your tone, your pitch, your volume. And what this does is it helps you to emphasize certain points and ensure that you communicate effectively. Given that Sharon is a master at vocal variety, I would allow him now to go into more detail with vocal variety and give you some examples of vocal variety.
And Alicia can probably tell you when she started Toastmasters, she identified that vocal variety was one of her weaknesses, but she has certainly improved since then. Some people may not want to give speeches because their voice sounds squeaky, or they sound like a little girl, or they sound like a little boy. Some give so many excuses not to give any speeches or presentation. But vocal variety is important. For example, you're not going to go to a funeral and give a eulogy and sounding very excited. Well, Peter was a good boy, and he died on May. No, you cannot. So vocal variety is extremely important for that. And as in the flip side, you cannot go to a wedding and you're speaking like, well, Alicia met Mark in 2015 and they were good. You lose your audience there already. So vocal variety must be specific to the speech that you are giving, the presentation that you are giving. So, and for even better emphasis, you can change up your vocal variety. I don't know, probably because my voice is very distinct, I love vocal variety because it add a different aspect or add impact to your speech. So you can be speaking at different paces, or you can, when you're giving a speech and it's a very sorrowful part of the speech, you slow down, you change your voice, you lower your voice. And when it's an exciting part, you raise your voice and you speak a little faster if you're giving a speech and you want to add some suspense it. And the man was running off the road and he was running around and he has his big cutlass and everyone was looking at us. And you know what happened? He swung his cutlass and it missed. So this is how important vocal variety is. But it's only important if you use it at the right time. And this is why it's important to know where to use it and when to use it.
Thank you, Sharon. Excellent descriptions on vocal variety. We will now move into body language. I know a lot of people might say, well, what does body language have to do with public speaking? And I will tell you now, it has everything to do with public speaking. The way you carry yourself and present when giving a speech or speaking in general will make the difference on whether you have your audience's attention or not. So today, if I were to come and speak to you all slouched down like this, hiding my face, you all won't be engaged by me. You won't feel confident that I have the skills necessary to present to you today. Body language is very important. But as well as right now, I could be very nervous, and I probably am nervous to speak before you all, but you won't know. You would not know that because my body language right now says that I am confident and I am sure of myself. I know my topic and I know what I am speaking about. And this is how body language helps with your presentation and your public speaking. Children?
Yes, the saying, fake it to make it. Sometimes you're probably nervous or you're not as confident as you should be in your presentation, but no one will know it. No one knows what you're going to speak about. You have your own presentation, you wrote your own speech. So the audience doesn't know what's coming next. So it's about your posture. Your posture is very important. Now in Zoom, you can probably sit and speak, but in soon we'll be in face-to-face meeting once again. So the way you stand, your posture, as well as a very, very important factor, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, is our hands. Lots of our people speak with their hands. Every interview, every presentation, you use too many hands. Hands are passing in front of your face, up your head, too many hands. So use your hands for emphasis. We're not Italians, that the Italians use their hands a lot. But I mean, you use it for emphasis. Boy, you see what went on? The man shoot the fella. But you cannot use it all the time. People, you will distract your audience. You'll be looking at your hands. I wouldn't be focusing on your face. So body language is very important. It sells you, as Alicia mentioned, from the moment you walk into the room, everyone will know that's our guest speaker. That is the person who's going to give the presentation this evening. By the way, the person walks into the hallway and is greeting everyone and full of confidence. They already know that you're the guest speaker at the function.
Our next strategy to public speaking is that of anecdotes. What is anecdote? Anecdote is using stories in order to convey your message, using personal stories so that you can engage the audience and relate to them. So for example, I could relate in terms of public speaking. When I now started public speaking, I was very shy. You could ask Sheridan. When I gave my first speech, I had butterflies in my stomach. I was very nervous. However, I've come a long way from since then. And one of the advice that was given to me when I started is that it is okay to have butterflies in your stomach, but the key thing is to get them to fly in formation. And using these personal stories help you to relate to your audience and get them interested in what you have to say. Sheridan?
Yes, and it's always important to share your personal story because you sort of become attached to your audience. And for instance, as a youngster coming up, I always thought that schools should choose their guest speakers at graduations. They should have done a lot better in selecting who they're using for their motivational speakers. Because for me, I had a problem when our guest speakers were coming to give speeches, and they're rich, wealthy people. And they're speaking about, well, when they were poor, they only had one meal and no slippers, no shoes, used to walk to school barefoot. But as a person now, you may not believe that story because they are so rich, you cannot even think that they went through what they went through growing up. So, but it's important to give advice and to motivate the audience. Let them know that you've been there before. As Alicia mentioned, she wasn't the best speaker when she joined. Well, at her high standard, she probably thought that she was the best. But she can show the experiences that she went through. She can say the different things that she did to improve her skills. So you'll be able to relate. That's the important part of giving your personal experience. Some people can relate to you. They can relate to if they went through poverty. They can relate to being very poor or being very nervous and giving public speaking or giving speeches. So then at the end of the speech or the presentation, they could say, well, I can see myself in that person because I am going through what they went through 10 to 15 years ago. And if that person can become a good speaker, then I too can become a good speaker because of the guidance that they gave to you in their speeches. They told you exactly what they went through. So it's important to give some sort of personal experience as well as humor. Humor is important. I love humor. Most of my speeches are humorous. And it's important to give experiences as well as the funny ones, just to break the ice. Because some of the audience, they might be uptight. They may not be in the mood to laugh, or whatever the case is. But once you get your audience to laugh, especially from a personal story, you will have the attention of your audience.
Yes, and as Sheridan mentioned, humor is very important because as a speaker, once you are able to see the smiles and the appreciation on the face of your members, your participants, it gives you that additional confidence to know that, yes, what I am doing here today is making a difference, that you all are enjoying it, and you all want to continue to listen to what I have to say. That brings me to my final point, the final strategy for public speaking, and that is confidence. There's a slogan, confidence is everything. Whether you have to buy confidence, borrow confidence, you need confidence in order to be a good public speaker. And this is because it impacts on your message. And confidence is not about being arrogant or boastful. It's a sense of belief that what you have to say is important and the participants are interested in hearing what you have to say. So today, I am confident that my message to you all is a very important one. I know from the beginning, I wanted to be a better public speaker because it helped me to improve my career. It helped me to be a more confident individual overall, and I wanted to share this with you all. And confidence is what helps me to do that. Shouldn't?
Yes, and confidence can be seen in, as mentioned before, body language, posture, dress code. For instance, if Alicia and I turned up this evening in a vest and in a home clothes per se, or a nightgown or so, it don't really show our confidence. But now you're well dressed, everyone is looking at you, everyone is complimenting you on your shirt or your nice dress, and all that is important for your confidence. And another aspect of confidence too is giving presentations without reading, without paper. So for example, Alicia and I didn't read anything for you this evening. And that's part of confidence. That's part of skills of improving your skill, your knowledge, to retain the ability to retain what you want to say and how to say it. Because if I was to come here this evening and read, like if I'm reading from a PowerPoint, you may have been bored, because there's a difference between reading to you and presenting to you. So confidence, as well as using no scripts or limited scripts, probably have your point form, is a part of confidence. I know what I want to say, I know how to say it, and I'm coming to present to you today based on the knowledge that I have and research that I did this evening. And just some key things as well as we're on the topic of confidence, is swing. Lots of our presenters and speakers sway. I mean, we come from the tropics, we come from Trinidad and Tobago, where soca music is our invention, and the steel pan. So, we love to move to the music of our people, and we love soca music. So you see it in our presentation. So sometimes you see on news, the reporters asking a question and the mic is in the center and the person is all over the place. You may think that they're on a boat ride or something, or the place is rocking. So swing is really something we need to work on in terms of our presentation. So it's all part of your posture. You stand with your feet well apart, confident, and by the way you stand, you wouldn't be able to sway. And it's part of confidence by swaying. So you stand still, your posture, you look up. Some people in presentations, I heard some people look at the top of the hall. So for instance, if there's a clock, you focus on the clock at the back of the hall, or you look at something above the audience. So they will think that you're looking at them, but you're looking at a clock. And we know some of our artists, some of our musicians, they wear sunglasses, they wear shades, and you see why they are wearing shades and in the night. This is part of confidence too. They're probably not confident enough to perform in front of thousands and 10,000, sometimes hundreds of thousands. And as Alicia said, they are probably filled with butterflies. So some people use the sunglasses in the night as a way of not focusing on the audience. Some people even use the paper clip. You put your hand behind your back and the paper clip is there and you're fiddling with the paper clip. You're fiddling with the paper clip. Some people use the small squeezing therapy balls just to get your focus off on presenting. So there are lots of different things you can use because you are lacking that confidence at that point in time. And as well as filler words. So in Toastmasters, we call them filler words or crutches. So words such as the most used word in Trinidad is that's the road march. And there's second place is as well as pauses. Pauses, we use lots and lots of them in our speeches. So if we can pay attention to that, we could focus on not using so many arms. The first time I did an interview for the national team, my uncle told me if I went in the bamboo, because I have lots of legs and lots of arms that I can sell. Because every word I was arm. And every point I was giving, it was, this can be a good thing, and pause. So some people giving a speech and they pause. Well, you thought the network went down or the internet shut down or something. It just froze, but they pause. So these are the three things that you could focus on when you're giving a speech. If you pay some mind to it, when you're giving a speech, you can only get better from using these crutch words and these filler words. Anything else you would like to add to that, Alyssa?
In terms of the crutch words and filler words, some of the trick that I used was to pay attention to what you have to say. Think about what you are saying before it actually comes out of your mouth. I know sometimes we are very excited and we speak in a rush. However, you can literally hear the words that are coming out of your mouth in your brain, so that if you were going to say a crutch or filler word, just like I was, you can pause for a second. A lot of times we think that is a pause for emphasis. However, once you pause, you would acknowledge the crutch word or the filler word, and then you would remove it from your vocabulary and continue. And that is one of the methods that we use in Toastmasters to eliminate that from our vocabulary, being mindful of your words and what you are saying. We also have a counter who literally counts the amount of ahs and ums you say within your speech, and they will point it out for you so that you can pay attention and become better. And that is it for my strategies with regards to public speaking. Shudan, do you have anything else to add?
You could probably review the list that we presented, so we can know your audience, know your topic, research, time, vocal variety, body language, anecdotes, and confidence. So if there are any questions, you can direct them to Alicia Brown. She'll be answering the questions today because I'm lacking confidence in answering questions this evening.
So are there any questions? Feel free to raise your hands.
Or you could type in the chat, we could read them out.
No questions? So everyone on this platform are expert public speakers.
Or probably we did a pretty good presentation.
They are willing to do icebreakers.
I think you all did a really good presentation. I see Ida has her hands up.
Ida?
Yes, I just wanted to ask a question regarding, like say for instance, you have to read a report or read out like a speech, for instance, in front of like a board of directors, right? And that is accompanied by like a PowerPoint presentation, like you have to describe like a statistical chart or something like that, right? What is like the best strategy to use when you have presentation aids, like the PowerPoint presentation as well as like the paper in front of you? What is the best strategy to be able to use public speaking? Like which strategies would you all suggest that we focus on for that type of situation?
Okay, I will go first and then Shudan will add anything else after. I would say the best strategy to use is a combination of both of them. Yes, you will have the paper in front of you with notes, but the onus is on you to really know your topic, as we would have mentioned earlier. So when going through the PowerPoint presentation, you would be able to explain what is being shown on the PowerPoint, whether this is through bullet points on the PowerPoint. Having knowledge, you'll be able to explain it without the script Yes, where statistics are concerned, you may want to refer to ensure that you are factual and that you give accurate information. However, I would never suggest reading entirely from the script because it distracts you from engaging with the audience. If your head is continuously down reading, they are not able to see your eyes or to feel your message, experience what you are saying. So I would definitely recommend a combination of the both of them.
Yeah, I remember one of my first presentations, my first PowerPoint presentation, they were loaded with words, and I was reading. And the lecturer, after the session, the lecturer came to me and said that the PowerPoint is not for you, it's for your audience. So it's only afterwards I understood what he was saying is the PowerPoint is for the audience or the people you're presenting to read and to understand. They are supposed to be listening to you, and to add to what you're saying, they read the PowerPoint. So you must keep that in mind. The PowerPoint the word limit, it shouldn't be too small. It should be easily, how to put it, but it should be done professionally, of course. And the audience should be able to read it quite easily by not get distracted, and they wouldn't get distracted from what you are saying. So they are listening to you and just following up with the PowerPoint presentation.
And that is an excellent point Daniel mentioned in the chat, that sometimes you will forget where you get confused. There were times where I tried to wing it in the past when doing my speeches, reading, especially on the virtual platform. We tend to try to read from the speech and think no one will see us if we read. However, sometimes we lose track of where we are and we get distracted. So Ida, I hope that answers your question. Yes? Great. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, Alicia, I put a question on the chat there. Vote of thanks versus guest speak presentation.
Okay, the question, just to be clear on the question, you would like to know the difference between a vote of thanks and a guest presentation?
No. I want you to address that because most of the time, vote of thanks go beyond the guest presentation, and people get lost in the audience, and the vote of thanks go back and revisit all that is said by the guest speaker. So I just wanted to touch on that.
Okay, and that brings us back to one of the strategies we would have identified earlier with time. And the vote of thanks person would be responsible for managing the time which they would have been given on the agenda. So basically, it has to do with making sure that the time limit is clearly given to the person doing the vote of thanks so that it does not overshadow the entire presentation and what is being said.
And as mentioned too earlier, if someone mentions something before you, you don't have to revisit or say over or re-say what is mentioned. You can say, you can leave it out. It's already mentioned on 2 or 3 occasions. So that's part of adjusting your presentation according to whenever you are called upon to speak.
And I'm seeing another comment from Bettina Dyer. Know when to pause and observe the audience at all times, as some speakers do not pay attention to them. And as a speaker, that is very important, paying attention to your audience. And it all has to do with audience engagement, ensuring that you give your full attention to your audience, that they are following you, because at the end of the day, the reason that you are speaking or given that public speaking is to communicate. You have a message to give to the audience and you want to ensure that they receive the message. And paying attention to your audience and focusing on them will ensure that you know they receive the message. So like for Mr. Savage Mungle, I think he's definitely receiving the message right now. His face is locked into the monitor. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that
the-
has to do with audience engagement.
Well, as earlier in the presentation, I mentioned pause as a filler, but there's an effective pause. So after you giving a speech and you drop a nice quote, you just give a little pause so people could reflect on it. Whoa, that's a nice quote. What you said again? Let me see if I can write it down. Or you give a nice punchline or a real nice joke. You give an effective pause for the audience to probably laugh at your joke. So that's the difference between an effective pause and just a regular pause. And engaging the audience is a very important strategy as well. You see it lots of times with comedians, where after they give a joke or they look at someone in the audience and say, okay, I'll pick on this person with this red jersey here, or I'll pick on this woman with this nice hat, or look how beautifully dressed this woman, roses are red, or she's in a red dress, or whatever the case may be. Or you must be able to observe what is happening in your audience and adjust to the situation at hand. So engaging the audience is very important because they feel part of the speech. They feel that you're speaking to them and you're asking them questions, as Alicia did and I did today. You pause at some time, you ask questions, you ask everyone if they understand or if anyone has a question, just to keep them in the loop, keep them excited. If they're excited, they're already excited what's going excited of your about your presentation, as well as you keep them engaged. You keep them engaged because they want to ask more questions. You ask a question and the presenter answered it really good. You have another question, they will ask again.
Are there any other questions?
Well, I would like to say that was a really wonderful presentation. You all kept this very interactive. And as Alicia mentioned, I was held grip to this presentation because I was taking so much notes. And I'm definitely going to be using those strategies in the future. You are both really amazing speakers. I remember asking Shidan right before the meeting, so you all need any slides or cues to help you present this presentation today? And he was like, you're all just speaking from the heart. So I think we could just throw up some extra emojis to show our appreciation for our speakers today. Well, on behalf of the Rotaract Club of Pinal and everyone who attended the meeting this afternoon, I would like to thank you, Shidan and Alicia, for taking the time out of your day to share amazing tips and strategies. So next time we have to do a public speaking event or even a small talk, we could be ready. Thank you.
And also you can, in terms of Toastmasters too, if you're interested or want to get any further information, you can always reach out to Savage and he will get in contact with me.
Is there any like Toastmasters email or something you could leave in the chat?
Yeah, well, I'm the president of the club, Talks to Toastmasters Club. So I believe we have the best club in the country. So we could always talk about it on a later note, or anyone interested could always message me. You can get my contact from Savage or on social media. That's no problem at all.
Well, thank you so much again. We will definitely probably be having another one of these presentations in the future. And thank you everyone for attending this evening.